Hello friends, those back pages here. I hope you're well. Before we dive into today's topics, I wanted to say a sincere thank you to everyone who viewed and participated with, interacted with my previous episode. An interview with my dad talking about collecting. So if you haven't had a chance to watch that one yet, please do. I think it's very important to share our love of the hobby, or whatever hobby it may be, with our close relatives and friends and family. Get it on record, to have it out there. Because, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet forever. So, I've changed the background there a little bit. You can see aim for AC. Hashtag aim for AC. Which we were all really talking about 2 years ago. Because, the world and, the hobby and the world in general was so much different 2 years ago. And just around this time, 2 years ago. So, aim for AC. The National is in Atlantic City this year. You can see it right there from July 27th until July 31st of this year. So I hope to see you there. I'm planning on being there all days, as I always like to be. It is just an annual tradition that I'm sure myself and other YouTube content creators will go into in detail in the coming months. It's actually not all that far away here as we approach the middle of March. So, 4+ months. And it's hard to think that it's difficult to think that in 5 months it'll be over, but we don't like to think that. We like to think positive, have a good time collecting. And I guess I'm kind of still undecided on the title of tonight's episode, but I think I know what it's going to be. I have some kind of idea. Maybe some would even say it's like a fishing title, but we'll see. Let me think out loud a second. I'm going to say, do raw cards count? Of course they do. Do raw cards matter? I guess it's the same thing, really. I think that might get some people riled up. I might try that. And of course they do, but do they? As you well know, I'm a huge fan of the graded cards. I collect all 4 companies, some more than others. And I've got a wide variety tonight of all 4 companies to show off. Got, the recent while it's been a build-up of mail to show off, and try to talk a little bit about each one, see how that goes, my thought process behind it and whatnot. The majority of tonight's video anyway will be 2 separate players that I've really been focusing on the last couple months. First, I have a bit of mail. A friend of mine, Don, if I can remember, I'll put a link down to the channel, or he can yell at me, and then I'll go down. I'll put the link of the channel in the description. But I'll give you the Cliff Notes version. He was at a Walmart last year, picked up I believe it was a Series 2 blaster. A flagship, and was lucky enough to pull the Willy Wonka golden ticket to the 70th anniversary party, kind of like the Transcendent party, but not. And, you know, he's on Twitter, I'm on Twitter. We talked about it, and he wanted to send me a couple of cards. You know, I told him obviously I'd pay him for them. He said no. That's kind of, you know, what this community is about. And I think it's important for us that have been here a long time to reiterate those that haven't, that it's great getting stuff, it's great buying stuff, but it's great meeting people and making friendships that last a lifetime. A few of my very good friends are currently in Dallas at the Dallas Card Show, and I was fortunate enough to be able to pick up a few items through them. So the power of friendship. You know, a friend sees a card, you know, I'm in New York and they're in Texas, and they see a card and they text me an image, and I said, yeah, I'd take that. Lo and behold, I'm shopping at a show in another part of the country. It's just fantastic. So back to from Dawn, the gift. I haven't looked at it. I've had this a while. I haven't looked at it, and I've told Dawn's, I get arrived. So yeah, but you know me. I let the mail build up. You know, I get a whole sack of mail and then I open it up. It's because it's got pull tab. So this part I opened it, not reading the address, and realized it was from him. Try to adjust the camera there a little bit. And so I said pull tab. I said this is too smart for an eBay seller. So, and then I looked at the address and it was him. So I know I have an idea of what's in here, but not totally. So let's go ahead and take a look. I don't know if he's got a note or anything in it, but we're gonna find out. It looks like a note. You know, I do love me some notes. So let's take a look. Definitely a note. Eric, thank you for everything you do. I've learned a great deal from you. I hope you enjoy these Sotos, Aaron's, and the Ichiro. Hashtag BB50 forever. You're right. It's a whole nother topic that I've talked enough. So that will go right in the YouTube family album. And let's take a look at these Sotos. First up is the... where's the other one? There it is. Let's start with this one first. This is the 2021. I guess I should center the talking there. 2021. They issued a complete factory set limited edition version for this party, and it's got like it's silver border, but it's got right there on the bottom you can read limited edition. It is believed, these are not numbered, but it is believed they made 100 sets for this event. I guess that kind of makes sense in the production numbers and such. But it reminds me of the old school, like 2001, 2002, the limited edition sets. And I think they did them in the 2015, 16. I think 17 was the last year they did them. But there's the Soto. So again, this is not an easy card to locate. I mean, you either had to attend the event or purchase or be gifted through someone who actually attended the event. So there's that Soto. This is the League Leader Soto from the same set, from his batting title. This was in one of the packs. They had special edition packs, I believe. It says right there, it says top 70 tops celebration there on the foil. Does this one say it too? No. The other ones don't say it, but that says it right there. So that's a fairly limited Soto. I think it looks just like the regular tops insert, but it has celebration on it. This is really nice. Same thing. It just, you know, I do love me some 18 Tops flagship design. I just, and you know, like most people, when it came out, I did not care for it. But it has grown on me over the years. I mean, they used it for baseball. They used it for soccer. They used it for wrestling. So that's just a cool, you know, 70s photo of Hank. Then this one, here's the Ichiro from the same 70 in the 95 design. It's celebration stamp. Now this is the goodies, I guess. This is 70th anniversary. They made special packs for this event, and I don't know yet if the print run is more than 10 cards, I'd be shocked. This is card number 90. There are parallels to this, but this was in the packs. Very, very scarce. Let's put it that way. Very, very difficult to come by. And yeah, I'm just happy to have this in the collection. Because as he was going, I mean, look, it's a centered 52. But as he was, you know, tweeting about the event and tweeting when he got back home, the goodies and everything, it was just really nice to follow along. And, you know, Don and I have become pretty decent friends, talking just on social media. He is a extreme Soto collector. And it's always nice to talk to fellow Soto collectors. And that was very nice of him. And I do have 2 raw cards to show off, but funny that, you know, saying do raw cards really matter? Do they count? Let me finish this and then go into that. But I had picked up a couple of these from the 2020 All-Star Game blister set, the National League. They put it in an American League as well. And it's Soto, obviously, and it's got a different image than his 2020 tops. So, Don, if you don't have this one's for you. I'll be PWEing that probably. I'll be mailing that out. But I'll probably text you about it after I push stop. But I just wanted to show that off because I think it's a cool thing that on some, I don't know if all the players, it's changed over the years. Like if you look at the team sets, they make team sets, they make all-star game lineup sets like that. And it's good for player collectors. I mean, if the image on the front is the same as the traditional flagship card, then the numbering on the back is different. Both for the, like it says NL16 there, and it would say something else. It's not the same card number as the flagship card, so technically it's different. One more raw card to show off. A good friend of mine, one of my best friends in the hobby, Dustin. He's a dedicated, super focused. I've spoken about him before, and I don't have that handy. I don't think I have that card handy right now. He's on a couple of national PSA promotional cards when they let you take the photo, but he's on a few of them. Every year he's on a few of them with me. So But he is a extreme LeBron James collector and just collects LeBron James. And it's fantastic. I'm very deep down on from being honest, I'm jealous of his ability to stay focused. I think I'd be better off if I could, but here we are. But he's been collecting patch cards, and he's been getting into patches and game used jersey stuff in the cards, and it's just, I think it's something for most of us to consider. I think it's time. You know, the circle is coming around again. You know, this stuff from the Upper Deck days is now 13 plus, at least 13 years old, usually older, especially for NBA. And, you know, I know game used patches, game used bat relics and stuff, I know that's been poo-pooed on for a while now. It's out of style, and maybe that's time to change. Maybe it won't change. Maybe it is time to change. I haven't picked up anything yet. I've been looking. Funny enough, the stuff I want to pick up, not cheap. Ironic, isn't it? But here we are. But I did, you know, every once in a while I'll put in Juan Soto auction and the soonest, and just see what's coming. That particular moment in time, what's ending, so what I can pick up. So I think this was about $17. It's from National Treasures. It's from, what year is this one from? 2020? Yeah, 2020. National Treasures, it's number 225. Right there, I don't think it'll show up. Oh, there it is. And it's got some foil on the name there. As you can see, the nameplate. And no comment there. But, you know, National Treasures is a very well-known basketball and football product by Panini, and not necessarily very popular with baseball, because like this is numbered to 25 and it was $17. And it's got whatever, you know, you want to call that game used or whatever it is. It's got a little chunk in there. Looks good with the white and red. Happy to have that in the collection. But so why, you know, I guess I should cover it a little bit. Why, Eric, how dare you? How dare you? Raw cards are awesome. I collect raw cards. Raw cards are how they're meant to be. Free the cards, blah, blah, blah. Alright, that's fine. As you can see, I just showed off a raw card I purchased, and I do buy raw cards. Especially if the card I want isn't available otherwise. And we're seeing a lot of that with the newer stuff because of the price of grading itself, which is silly. I understand it. I don't agree or disagree with it. I understand it. But hey, I you know, I've been saying that a lot lately. You cry, I buy. You know, you submit 100 cards and 85% of them come back non-gems for modern cards or ultra-modern cards. You B&M, bitch and moan. Oh, I got the bad grader. They suck. They can't grade. They grade too tough. Or, you know, you have the other side of the coin. I sold the 100 cards to X company and I got 98% gems. Then those guys grade too easy. No, that's blah, 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 blah. And you go back and forth. And, you know, at the end of the day, you buy what you want. That's fine. I prefer graded cards for reasons I've stated many times. And what made me think of this topic is that I was looking through some raw cards, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot I had that. So it's kind of a, you know, not that you forget all the time, but you tend, at least myself, speaking only for myself, I tend to forget. Like, oh yeah, I had that raw version. But if you're buying a graded copy, you tend to remember more. that makes sense. It tends to stick out more, I guess, in your mind. I mean, obviously you're going to pay a bit more. I don't know if any of the cards I'm going to show are what I would call exactly cheap in the raw form, but you know, they are cheaper in the raw form, but you know, going into that whole thing, you never know what you're going to get when you buy it and it comes in the mail in the raw form. Let me start off with a couple of non-Soto and Aaron cards. I picked this up sheerly because it was too cheap, and it's from 2019 Topps Gallery, which is a Walmart exclusive. It's the Tatis Jr. private issue. You can see the stamp there. These are numbered on the back to 250. And this was $29.99. Buy it now? Yeah. It was just, I had seen it when it was listed, and I thought to myself, that's just too cheap. I'll pick that up, and it's actually got subgrades on it. So you put all those, the subgrades and the number to 250 together. That just made no sense not to buy it. So I picked up, speaking of made no sense not to buy it, I saw this listed when it was listed, and this is a 1993 Donruss Elite Gretzky. These are numbered on the back. I've shown these off before, to 10,000. Very, very shiny, very well done. Very difficult to receive in a pack. These were not, you know, 10,000 sounds like a lot to some of you, but if you know, this card is almost 30 years old, so if you were collecting back then, you realize how difficult Donruss Elites were in those first couple of years. And it's a PSA 6. You know, I've paid more for, I have a few raw copies of this, and I've paid more than that. You know, significantly in some cases, but you know, you can see there, I don't know if it'll show up, in that right corner kind of has an upward, I didn't examine it too well, but if it has this little paper separation or not in that upper right hand corner. But yeah, this was a buy it now, and it was $16. You really can't beat that for $16. I mean, it costs more than that to grade it, and I guess the seller was just unhappy with the assigned grade and said, I want this out of my face. So again, you know, you've got arguably the hockey greatest player of all time for an insert that's 29 years old, an iconic insert series, $16. Next up, I picked this up because, again, under the category it was too cheap. And this is a CSG 6 Ricky Henderson rookie that is pretty well centered. Could be a little bit better. Did look a little bit better on the internet, but it just, these cases are best plastic in the business. It's not even a debate. As long as they don't use that baggie that they sometimes use depending on the card size. But this just looks great. I know the green gets a lot of hate on the internet. In person, it's not as bad. It actually works well with the A's. And this is just a fantastic looking card. It was about 60% the cost of a PSA 6, so not quite half, but wow. You know, and I've never heard anyone say that, oh, I've got too many Ricky Henderson rookies. I have a handful, and like anything else, if the price is right, I'm going to add some more. Especially ones that look like that. There's a lot of them that are off center. If you're familiar with the card, you know what I'm talking about. Speaking of, it was too cheap, and why not add it? You know, the Ricky was a best offer, and this was an auction. This is a PSA 3 George Brett rookie that has some corner damage down there in the lower left hand corner, like someone might have dropped it at one point. The other corners are nice. There is a slight crease above the O. There we go. Royals. But this card presents very well. The centering is very good. Could be a little bit better top to bottom. But this is it's got fantastic color. For 75, it has fantastic color. And I won this at auction. It was 67. So yeah, that's, again, like Ricky, I've never heard anyone say I've got too many George Brett rookies. Never heard anyone say I've got too many Michael Jordan rookies. Too many Brady rookies, etc. These are, and at least in the case of this Brett and the Ricky, you know, those cards, the players themselves, I feel, especially Brett, but you want to argue about the players on the card all you want, but the cards, those two cards themselves, let's not kid ourselves. 75 Brett and an 80 Ricky are pretty significant in the hobby. So let's show off a couple Sotos. I went ahead and picked up, I didn't have this from the 2018 Bowman's Best Power Producers insert set. Not a rookie card, but an insert rookie year, regardless of that thing you see right there. And it's got great shine, almost like a lightning effect. Never owned this card. I don't have any versions of it. This does not not available as a non-refractor. So if you see, it's a refractor, no, there's no non-refractor version available. This is the basic version. Wish it had some etching. That would have been even better. Also from his rookie year, this was his first Topps Now card. So this is his first Major League Baseball card ever released. If you want to debate if it's a rookie card or not, we can debate about that. I do not consider it to be a rookie card. I did, when this came out, I did buy one copy for $5. But again, falling under the category of tonight's episode, I don't know. It's nicer to have a graded copy. And again, that might just be me. You can throw it in a magnetic and stuff. It's just not the same. You know, I can show this to anyone. Yeah, you want to see this Soto card? You just hand it to them. You don't worry. Oh, be careful. Be careful. Now, I'm not saying to throw it around or you know, if you drop it, it could crack for sure. I mean, it's happened. It's happened to everybody. Or chip or scratch. But for the most part, you know, and it tells you what it is. I mean, do the companies, all companies have issues. I don't care what you make. But that's a whole nother topic. We don't need to go on that rant right now, right? Shut your mouth. But that's his Topps Now. His first Topps Now card. And you can pretty much go back and him and Acuna's still fairly cheap, but even these raw are not. I think they're north of $20 raw, somewhere around there. Last Soto of the night from 2019 Topps Archives, the red jersey photo variation. the 75 tops. This just looks great. I just think that looks great. You know, with the George Brett year. I mean, the font's a little off, tiny bit, both the top and bottom. But this was an image variation, and it was the same price. It's an 8 because this corner has some damage here. It was the same price as buying it raw. I'd much rather have this. Looks much better than a raw copy. Just presents. That's just my, you know, my feelings. Let's see. All right, let's show some Hank Aaron's. One night, let's see, not that one. This, and this one. What I'll do from time to time on eBay is send out the troops. I know that sounds bad at this time. Analogy's bad, but I send out the best offers. Send out a bunch of best offers, blanket best offers. Send out however many. You know, you do the odds, and sometimes you'll, whatever you're willing to pay, maybe even a little less. Give yourself some wiggle room if they counter. I've found that a lot of eBay sellers counter a very small percentage off their ask price, which wouldn't even cover the tax rate. So it's easy to pass on those. So yeah, this was one of them. If I had to do it again, I would pass on it, but it was, I don't even remember what it cost, but it was cheap enough. From the 67 top set, sorry. The home run leaders with Willie Mays and Dick Allen. And an SGC 3.5. It's a semi-high number. Not that high. 244, so it's second series, I think. But hey, it's got Willie Mays and Hank Aaron on it. The 66 league leaders, NL league leader batting leaders, has Aaron, Clemente, and Mays. That's the one. That's the chef's kiss. That's the one you want to get. I do have a couple of copies that I bought a long time ago. I just didn't feel like digging them out, and as it turns out, this video is already lengthy. Let's see. These three I sent out low offers. You know, hey, you want to accept this for essentially the price of a blaster? I'll buy it. This card has a lot wrong with it. It's got diamond cut, which is probably don't like, I probably dislike more than off-centered, but it's a BVG 3.5. The subgrades on the back. The really cool part about it is look at the serial number 7233. I should have looked it up, but 7,233rd card that they graded, so it's a very low serial number. So it's been in this case a long time. And at the end of the day, it is a Hank Aaron base card from his playing days. So I think it was about 20 bucks. Maybe even less if I'm remembering correctly. Next up is another BVG from 75 tops, card number 1 with no subgrades and just a later, way later graded. A little faded. Centering is pretty good. I really like this card. I showed off an O-Pee-Chee 2 episodes ago, I think it was. I will buy this card graded under $20 with decent centering all day. A lot of these, the centering is terrible, but this copy is nice. It's a little faded. I'll show you the next. This is a old school SGC slab, SGC 40, which translates to a 3 with decent centering. It's got some stainage there on the border, but you can see the color is better. It's a little more beat up. I guess that's why they gave it a 3 versus the Beckett 5.5. But honestly, the grade is fairly relevant. And again, for the price of a blaster, I will add more of these. I do search for them fairly regularly, and I don't mind competition, but I would like to pick up a mini. I haven't picked up a mini yet. So I have the O-Pee-Chee and the Topps. There's a Topps mini. And I've never heard anyone say I've got too many Hank Aaron cards. I don't think you can have enough Hank Aaron cards. In fact, I have trouble coming up with any bad stories about Hank Aaron. I had a couple people tell me, I had a bad experience when I was getting an autograph and whatnot. But for what the man went through, what he accomplished, and I think I said this a couple episodes ago, but I heard someone say that they called Hank Aaron the ultimate compiler for baseball. And isn't that the point? He's got more RBI than anybody. He's got, depending on your stance on Barry Bonds, he's got more home runs than anybody. Anyway, I won this one. I think this was a best offer, actually. I can't remember. But this card is this is 1973 Topps #1. This card is very difficult to find centered. This one isn't even greatly centered, but when you look at enough of these, this one's pretty darn well centered, because if you look at enough of them, you'll learn. And of course, it's got all-time home run leaders as of 1970, going into the 73 season. And you've got 3 Inner Circle members of the Hall of Fame right there on the same card. I think it might be the only mainstream card that has all 3 of them on it. Obviously 2 of them still playing at this time and 1 not. I picked this up again. This one was also under that let's send out a bunch of offers and throw it up against the wall and see what sticks type of deal. And it was a 68 Topps Aaron and a PSA 3, and very well centered for the issue. I mean, they present well because of the burlap-like border, but it's accurately graded. That upper right-hand corner is pretty shot. Actually, so is all the corners are pretty much shot, but well centered. I think this one was 30. This was not $20. This one I think was 30. But like I say, if you don't send the offers, you don't get accepted offers. You don't win. You don't send the offers, you don't win. So let's see. I've got these 2 to show off. Let's see which one first. This one first. A 73 Topps Aaron, centered. This card is very, very, very difficult to find centered. So is the one after this. We'll go over that in a second. But this is just fantastic. I didn't look it over completely. That upper left corner is pretty shot. The upper right corner is pretty shot. I think it's graded accurately. But just the centering on that is just beautiful. And I paid up a little bit for. I can't remember how much this was. 60. Can't remember how much it was. I paid up for it because of the centering. If this was off centered, I would not. I actually won a copy tonight in a very low grade, a BVG1. I won it because it was $21. My winning bid was $21, and it's off centered. Not horribly, but this is a near perfect centering example. I don't remember how the back is okay, but the front is just, for this issue, really tough. Really tough, especially in non-high grade. And when I search for these, I don't look, I put in -10, -9, -8, -7. Those are out of my range. So I totally exclude them from the search. So, very happy to have this in the collection. Again, can you really have too many Hank Aaron cards? So the last one now. This card is, especially non-high grade, is next to impossible to find centered without tilt, without diamond cut. Without diamond cut and centered. And I saw this and I made an offer that was declined. I made another offer that was fairly strong for the assigned grade, and it was accepted. And it's from this 1974 Topps, card number 1. This card is a PITA, pain in the A, to find centered in low grade. I think even 7s and 8s are poorly centered, and I don't know if, you know, I 9s are out of my range on these vintage cards. But the centering on this, I know the top looks a little off because of the shadow, but the centering on this is just fantastic. I'm very happy, very proud of this card. This card is very, Topps being very ballsy, because you can see there on the left it says Hank Aaron, new all-time home run king. And I don't think it'll show up on here. I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. No, it's too dark, I think. But going into the 1974 season, for which this card was released, Hank Aaron had 713 home runs. It's card number 1. So it's the first, it was in the first, you know, at 74 they didn't have series anymore. So there's none of that excuse. And he was one shy of Babe Ruth's then record. So the cojones to put this out, if something would have happened and he didn't break the record, that would have been even worse than they look now, I guess. But this is just a beautiful example of this card. Very happy to have this in the collection. So I want to thank you for sticking around. I want you to remember that you matter. I want you to share your knowledge with anyone who is willing to listen.